Welcome back to part 2 of Silki's Bootleg Armory. Now I wanted to show part 2 to be something a little bit sweeter than part 1. So why Painkiller, you might ask? Well, I grew up a big DC Comics Marvel fan, so I was big on like animated characters and stuff like that. So once I found out there was this black dude who had dreads, who could fight, who was big on knives and stuff like that, because I'm big on knives. Speaking of knives, I'm big on knives myself. I'm always training with somebody's knives, you know, doing all these different things so I can draw and do that. So I don't know, man, I felt like it was perfect, you know what I'm saying? And then his ability to anesthese any part of the human body, I felt like that would be perfect for, you know, this particular rifle. So this rifle here, man, is probably my most accurate rifle out of everything, and I'll put it up against anybody's, truth be told. I mean, yeah, like, yeah. But we're going to get to that, and we're going to get to why I actually feel the way I feel about it. So, without further ado, introducing Painkiller.
Holy Father, God in heaven, show your power, let it come for your kingdom and your honor, through your spirit and your son. Spread the ox out, 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 spread the ox out.
Oh, I think they hate me. My baked tea. Ain't no pardons in the garden if you snake me. You can't break me. Tryna chase me. When it's rocky, I move ASAP, you can't break me. I'm fine, I got my feet up. I ain't never scared, gon' put my heat up. I was outside and try no rip. Where my ops at, God gon' eat up. Ain't nothing free us. Lock my family up, my mama told the judge he ain't no killer. It's all good, cause on that prison, you already preaching about the healer. Spread the ops out, now the cops out. Facing death, you wanna plea, but you can't cop out. Now you locked out, I promise my God coming back when he do it's a problem. Got his attention, but you don't want tension, you don't want the smoke, it's too late, you done got it.
Holy Father, God in heaven, show your power, let it come for your kingdom and your honor, through your spirit and your son. Spread the ox out, spread the ox out, spread the ox out, spread the ox out, spread the ox out.
What's your intentions? I see your screws and your wrenches. You tryna break up the business, ruin my witness, spreading your lies and opinions. You don't deserve my attention. You's a pretender. We were so used to the code that my mama gave birth to a winner. Put all the ops on alert that we out in the trenches, and demons do not get forgiveness. Pray for repentance for all my family that's in it. I ain't the truth, I'm a witness. I got some blood on my hands, some dirt on my fingers. You know that I gotta go get it. I gotta go get it. Lord help me kill all my demons. I look in the mirror, I seen them. I had to be in my force to get an abortion. I pray when I die I can meet them. They want me cheating, telling me open my DMs. Eat all this food that I'm seeing. I got some people in prison, I need to go see them. And work for the Lord, I would be them. Yeah, I know they won't catch me lacking. See me off in traffic, yeah, I'm packing. Got that apostolic budget. Back that action, keep them 223s, but Jesus my assassin. If you asking, I'm still 116 until I'm in the casket. I see my ops trying to pop out. They wanna pull every stop out. Wait till my guy spin the block and he let off the shots, he gon' air the whole spot out.
Holy Father, God in heaven, show your power, let it come for your kingdom and your honor, through your spirit and your son. Spread the ox out, spread the ox out, spread the ox out, spread the ox out, spread the ox out.
So Painkiller, man, he has this ability to anesthese any part of the human body. And that's kind of what drew me to the name, because of the accuracy of this rifle. But not only because of it, I mean, just the functionality of it and how smooth this is. So starting from, of course, from tip to butt. As usual, we have my silencer Kosaker 556K. But unlike Ghost, underneath here, I have a 3-prong flash hider. Now, the difference is it's just gonna suppress flash more, whereas that muzzle brake, it'll create a massive fireball, especially when you start chopping down that barrel length and getting into those shorter barrels. But that's a whole different story. This one here, I mean, it serves its purpose. It's flash hider, but for the most of the part, I'm shooting suppressed anyway. So most of the time, my flash is pretty much mitigated by my suppressor, since I kind of have them, the muzzle device is interchangeable throughout all my rifles. Well, take that back. I have the same ASR muzzle device on all of my rifles, so it allows me to interchange my suppressor on each one. So I'm pretty much not really worrying about flash for the most part. But where this rifle shines at, honestly, is the gas system, the internal gas system. I mean, I'm able to get my superlative arms bleed off gas system, which I know we mentioned I wasn't able to have in Ghost, which Ghost gas block, Odin works. That one's been working great. No, nothing against it, but I feel like if you're gonna shoot suppressed, the best thing you can do is get all kinds of parts that help you mitigate that gas blowback in your face. Because once you have all of that gas being trapped by this, it's not exiting the muzzle, because that's all the sound of a gunshot is. You know, it's those gases being spent out that muzzle, and that's where we get our sound from. So if you end up suppressing all of those gases where the muzzle actually releases those gases slower, hence you have lower sound, lesser flash. But y'all not here for a science lesson, so we're not even gonna get into any of that. But like I said, the gas block and the gas system. It's not a carbine length, not a mid length, not even a rifle length. It's a patrol length. And that's actually directly related to the Roscoe 416 stainless steel 5.56 barrel that I actually decided to use with this one. It's a 12.5 contour barrel, which allows the weight to be featured more towards the middle of the receiver. So that way, if you have a suppressor or any kind of additional aiming devices, I'm probably going to end up getting laser or NGAL or something like that to go on the tail end of it, because I love lasers. I love infrared shit. So whatever. But it minimizes all of that weight. So when you have the weight contoured towards this end, now you have something of a featherweight down here to where you're able to manage and have your fatigue in your arm and however you're shooting with your platform to be that much more comfortable. Now back to the gas system, the patrol length gas system. I knew I wanted something that was designed specifically for suppressed shooting. And with this one being longer than a carbine length and more reliable than a mid length, I wanted to check it out. And I knew I wanted a rifle length or a barrel length that was capable of reaching out to at distance, you know, especially combined with this right here, which we're gonna get to. But with this system here, I'm able to get about, muzzle velocity wise, equivalent to a 16-inch muzzle velocity, but in a 12-inch weight. That makes sense. And to me, that's awesome, because I got a rifle that I can reach out to 700-800 yards with a 12.5-inch barrel, but it shoots as smooth as if you don't have anything going, reciprocating into the back of your shoulder. So yeah, like I said, I'll put this rifle up against anybody's. I know previously I spoke about the Odin Works gas block, which, I mean, that one's great. Honestly, I love it. It's great. But that superlative orange bleed off gas block, man. That when you're shooting suppressed, honestly, is probably one of the best add-ons you can have, in my opinion. Just because you have to mitigate all of that gas that's blowing back into your face, and that shit burns, as you can see. I got it tuned properly. You know, with the first shots, man, I had it, the gas was sending the trajectory all the way dang near 1 or 2 o'clock, you know, and that's a definite sign that you got something over gas. So they say a lot of your parts will get worn down a lot faster. So I don't even want to play with that. So that's why I like to tune the gas block and the buffer weight and everything kind of exactly how I want it with the ammo that I want. So I know how this thing's going to run, when it's going to run, and what conditions and stuff. So yeah, I be doing all that crazy crap. But anyways, I ended up having like this big old fireball, man, like when I shot it. And I was like, yo, if that meant that's too much dwell time and it makes that kind of fireball with a suppressor, that was crazy. Because dwell time is the point at which the projectile passes the gas block and exits the muzzle. And too much dwell time is bad. Not enough dwell time is bad, because you still need that proper, enough right amount of gas to push and cycle the rifle properly. So once I pretty much got that tuned in properly, everything was functioning flawless. I wasn't getting any flash out of my suppressor. The recoil was as soft as it needed to be. So yeah, moving on. What's covering up the barrel? This handguard. I wanted something, of course, that was lightweight. I like to kind of be, or shade ounces as much as possible, because there's a reason why, you know, it's the same, ounces equal up to pounds. So I have a lot of different cuts inside the actual handguard, which allow me to adjust the gas block quickly if I needed to, which gives me some on top and actually on the side. So, I mean, not only does it save weight, but with this being a forged handguard made by, I believe, AT3 Tactical. I think I ended up getting it off Optics Planet. I use some Optics Planet bucks, man, because I kind of shop between them and Primary Arms. You know, they get all my money. Moving down towards the lower, I went with the Aero Precision lower, which, I mean, the only reason I like this one because it had the actual black flag design that really attracted me to it. Nothing fancy there. It's not really like an ambidextrous lower or anything, so it don't really have any special features. It's just a lower. But I do have my Phase 5 bolt catch, which allows me to lock my bolt back at any particular time. Ambidextrous style, which is what I like. So, got that. So, moving on. The lower receiver, upper receiver, pretty much used just a regular standard billet receiver. I did go with something a little bit more innovative. I did go with the 2.8 Armament upper receiver, simply because I did want something a little bit innovative and designed kind of sleek. Like, you'll notice these little cuts here at the top where the charging handle meets is actually perfect. And speaking of the charging handle, this Geisley, you know what? Let's pop this out. You know, I can show you better than I can tell you. So we're gonna pop you out. Let's open you up. Dang, you know what? I just showed off my bow carrier by accident. I wasn't trying to do that yet. Oh well, whatever. We'll hold you there. This charging handle here, it has an upper lip that actually blocks out the gases. Honestly, better than I can show you, better than I can tell you. 1 second. So we're gonna take you apart. You out. This here is the Raptor SD charging handle. Now it has these cuts in it that are designed to push the gases back forward away from your face. But I found that although that does work, when I was cleaning my gun, there was a section right here that had some gunk and gas. See, even this, you can see the little small, little black spot that I just got. So that right there just told me that there was a section that had gas seep out. So once I noticed that, I switched to this one. And it actually has a higher lip that prevents all of that extra gas, and all of that extra space is now mitigated. Therefore, all of that gas is gone. But since I did what I didn't want to do, the Lantac Enhanced Bow Carrier Group. Y'all know how I feel about this thing. Talked about it in Ghost. I feel like if you're gonna end up shooting suppressed, you need something to help mitigate those gases, you know. And that thing, you know, I said I wasn't gonna say it, man, because I said the word sexy a lot in the last video, you know. I mean, but shoot, I like sexy stuff, man. I like my stuff to look good. So, you know, I mean, it's sexy, you know. I mean, it's nice silver nickel boron finish. It has that port that ejects the actual gases out. So you pretty much combine that with the benefit of that charging handle. Man, you got something that you have no gas in your face. With that combination alone, I have no gas in my face at all, which is amazing. But moving on. And below it, we have the PSA Palmetto State Armory match grade drop-in trigger. It's a 3.5 pound trigger, man, and I love it. Like, I love it. You know, I'm not trying to be the fastest shooter. I'm not trying to be the best shooter, but I am learning how to shoot. And it does exactly what I need to do. Makes my rifle go bang when I need it to go bang. So for me, as long as it does that, I can move on to what I really like, which is aesthetic. And, you know, I like my stuff to look sexy. So as you see, this one here features like a flat bow design, but it also has an opening cut because I knew I wanted something more to flow with my Phase 5 bolt catch, since that one has some cuts in it as well that kind of are see-through and lets you look through the rifle a little bit more. Add that on with the Swamp Fox LPVO mount that you see. Man, all of this really does flow together pretty seamless. Now for the good stuff. Sitting atop, man, this thing here. The Primary Arms PLX 1-8, first focal plane. I don't even know where to start. I'm probably gonna end up doing an unboxing of this and then end up doing like some kind of review, because I can just ramble about this thing, man, from the reticle to the weight to the glass clarity to the functionality to how smooth it is when you rotate the actual throw levers. Man, yeah. So I'm not even finna get into all that, but sitting atop that, for more quicker engagements, I have my actual holosun ACSS reticle, which that actually combines perfect with the actual triangle reticle inside the PLX 1-8. Now, I've learned that on one of my other rifles, I have an offset RMR. So when I'm able to transition, you know, and I need to transition shoulders, for some reason, well, not for some reason, my 45, it makes it harder for me to actually clear that corner, because I find myself having to lean over and do all this little weird angle or whatever. But if I have this one, it functions more seamless. So I'm able to actually see and switch whichever way I need to without interfering with anything right here. So this particular setup here, having this optic mount be a little bit higher, it ended up taking some getting used to. So I'm probably going to end up getting maybe a cheek riser or something like that, because I find myself, I don't really like my cheek not touching when I shoot sometimes, even though this is more for like a backup sight and much more quicker engagements. The one power on this scope does work really, really well. The glass clarity, the field of view is 121 feet, I believe. So, I mean, I don't need this, you know, but this is when I get lazy and I don't want to switch my throw lever over, to be honest. But like I said, I was probably going to end up getting a cheek riser to help with that functionality and recoil management a little bit better. But yeah, other than that, this is Painkiller.
You getting closer?
I'm getting closer.
You getting closer? All right. What do you see?
I see a heart in it.
A who?
Oh,
the dot, the reticle.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I see the dot in there.
Awesome, buddy.